How you guys doing tonight?
Good. All right.
Awesome. My name is Shaunn Kollar, and I'm here to talk to you about a book that's opened my mind up to a lot of new things and taught me a lot about making money and managing it as well. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's an awesome book, and I want to explain why all of you guys should read it and why it would benefit you. Let me first begin to tell you why I read the book. First off, my dad came to me and told me that he's read it and that it would be a good book, and I thought at the least I can learn about making money or something like that. Maybe even learn about a possible career choice. Also, another reason why I read it, the number one reason actually, was while I was in high school and a lot of my friends knew exactly what they wanted to do with their lives and what they wanted to pursue in college and what they wanted to do with as a career and everything like that. I really had no idea. I knew I wanted to go to college and get a degree, of course, but I didn't know what field to study it or what field I wanted to study. So I was hoping by maybe reading this book would give me a couple insights about that. Basically, the book holds so much information, it's really not possible for me to sit here and tell you all of it, but pretty much in bold print, the book goes and talks about what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. The author, Robert Kiyosaki, what he does is he writes books in an entertaining method, and where you could explain financial notices and things like that, and stays entertaining as well as learned and stuff. So a lot of people like to read his books. They're made up stories, but they have a lot of morals and things like that to them. The book really starts out, it's the author as a young child, and he grows up in Hawaii, and he's got his real dad, which is an educated dad, but they refer to him as the poor dad throughout the book. And he pretty much stresses to Robert that you need to have security, you need to go to school, you need to get a job, work for benefits, and hopefully climb a corporate ladder and become high up in that business or whatnot. And the rich dad sees things extremely different. And he didn't just start explaining to the kid about how he makes his money. They actually came up to him. The main character, the author, as a young child, had a best friend named Mike, and they would always go around and mow lawns and sell lemonade, stuff that little kids do to try to earn some money, but it was never good enough. It was good for them, but they wanted to know why the poor dad wasn't able to make as much money as the rich dad. They just didn't understand it. They were too young. So the rich dad goes on throughout the whole book and just explains to him about money concepts, and he can't really sit down and explain to a young child how to make all this money and what he does, but he kind of guides him along and makes him do recommends him doing things in his life that will help build his financial abilities and stuff. But anyways, Robert Kiyosaki is a born and raised Hawaiian, and they actually refer to him as a millionaire teacher because he goes on and teaches a lot of people by writing books. He teaches people to be millionaires, and he's not only a self-help author, he's an investor and a businessman and a motivational speaker as well. He's written over 18 books, but his Rich Dad Poor Dad series is the best one, the most sold at least. I have a couple other books here with me in the trilogy Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad, of course, is the first. The Cash Flow Quadrant is the second. Goes on to tell you about employees, self-employed, the investor, and the business owner, and about how they all make their money and stuff like that. And then there's a third book in the trilogy, Guides to Investing, and pretty self-explanatory. It guides you along to making good investment choices and things like that. One of my favorite parts of the books is all the graphs that he uses. If you can see right here. This is a cash flow chart of the wealthy, and basically what it says is that you have liabilities and assets. I mean, when you spend your money, you either it's either a liability that you buy or an asset. And an asset is something that brings money back to you. You know, investments pretty much. And this pretty much goes on to explain that all of his assets is where his income comes from, and that's why he's so wealthy. And assets that he deals with include stocks, bonds, notes, real estate, and intellectual property. And just goes on to explain a lot about that. I really think you guys should read this book. It'll be it's beneficial to anybody, not if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur or anything like that. You know, it can be beneficial to anyone. I mean, it gives you experience, or it gives you knowledge about money concepts, money management, and teaches you a lot of things about money. And really, it's simply a starting point for anyone looking to gain control of their financial future. So I advise everyone to go read it, tell people about it, buy it. It's a really good book. Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate it a lot. Mother.
All right.